Welcome to She is Resilient, a podcast for women on their healing journeys who are ready to start living their most authentic and empowered lives outside of survival mode. I'm your host, Tatiana, trauma and somatic therapist, as well as a holistic coach, and I'm on a mission to help more women heal their nervous systems. Each week, me and my guests are going to get real and vulnerable about the experiences that led us to becoming the empowered and resilient women we are today. You'll leave this podcast with the skills, knowledge, and inspiration to start creating the life you deserve. Because if another woman can do it, so can you. Welcome back to another episode of She is Resilient. So today I want to talk about somatic healing, what it is, what qualifies as somatic healing, and how these modalities are different from somatic experiencing. And the primary reason I'm creating this episode is because somatic healing seems to be everywhere. And so I really want to make sure that you understand what this means and make an informed decision when you're choosing a therapist, coach, or a practitioner to work with. I'm going to be talking about a few different techniques and modalities and sharing how they're different from somatic experiencing. But if you want to learn about somatic experiencing alone, then I invite you to head over to episode 79, The Healing Method No One is Talking About, to learn specifically about somatic experiencing. Okay, so let's start by talking about what the word somatic even means. The word somatic simply means of the body. So when you hear the phrase somatic healing, we're talking about healing that involves the body. So I tend to low-key cringe when I hear people say somatic breathwork or somatic yoga or somatic movement, because breathwork, yoga, and movement are already somatic. So putting the word somatic in front of something that's already somatic is redundant. And I feel like either A, people are just using the word for marketing purposes because we know that the word somatic is trendy, or B, they don't truly know what the word somatic means. So basically, somatic healing invites the body into the process, right? So it's about feeling and giving your body the chance to release what it's been holding on to. But here's the thing. Not all somatic healing is the same. There are many forms of somatic healing, and somatic experiencing, the modality that I'm trained in, is just one of them. So this episode is not to say that one is better than the other, although, of course, I am a little biased and I fully admit that. But truly, it's just to help you understand what each one offers so that you can make an empowered and informed decision about what kind of support you really need. So let's start with the most common one, breathwork. I get this question all of the time when I tell people I'm a somatic experiencing practitioner. They say, so is this like breathwork? And the short answer is no. Breathwork is when you intentionally change your breathing patterns to shift how you feel. Some people use breathwork to calm down, and others use more intense styles that bring up emotion or help you release energy from the body. And breathwork can be really powerful. But breathwork usually involves doing something with the breath, like slowing it down, speeding it up, or holding it. I teach breathwork exercises in my somatic bundle because my somatic bundle is a library of tools, and so breathwork is just that. It's a tool to support you and your body. And when I share tools with people, I like to emphasize that tools are short-term relief. That means that they help in the moment, but will not heal the root of your symptoms long-term. So I do teach breathwork in my somatic bundle, but I do not teach breathwork in my somatic experiencing sessions. So as a somatic experiencing practitioner, my job is not to teach you tools or breathwork. In somatic experiencing, I will never ask you to change your breath. And often, if I notice that you're trying to control your breath, I just gently invite you to notice how your breath is showing up on its own. So noticing if it's shallow or tight, or maybe if you're holding your breath. And once we've noticed the quality of your breath, instead of telling you to change it in any way, I help you find or create safety in your body. Because the foundation of somatic experiencing is to allow the body to do whatever it needs to do. Because the body is self-healing. So if you notice that the breath feels shallow or tight, I may just help you bring awareness to another part of your body that feels safe. And what happens is that your breath will naturally shift. So that is the difference between breathwork and somatic experiencing. Let's move on to EFT tapping. If you've never heard of EFT, it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, also called tapping. So tapping is when you lightly tap on specific points on your body, like under your eyes or under your collarbone, while saying certain phrases or affirmations. It's often used to manage anxiety or emotional stress, and it can bring some relief to the body. I think oftentimes EFT follows a script. So for example, you're saying things like, even though I feel anxious, I deeply accept myself. And you do that repeatedly throughout the EFT practice. So the difference between EFT and somatic experiencing is that in somatic experiencing, we're not working with any scripts. Sometimes we might say affirmations during a session, but it's less about the affirmation and more about the way that your body is responding to the words. The other difference is that EFT, similar to breathwork or other somatic tools, is more about finding relief in that moment. So in somatic experiencing, we're focusing less on changing what you feel, like anxiety or any other uncomfortable emotion, and it's more about staying with the uncomfortable emotion in a safe way so that your body can release whatever it needs to when it's ready to do so. Now let's talk about EMDR. Hey there, if you're looking for daily somatic practices to add to your toolbox, I'd love to introduce you to my somatic bundle where I guide you through over 30 somatic tools and practices that support your nervous system by creating the safety that your nervous system requires to move out of survival mode. Just click the link in the show notes and you will get immediate access to my library of tools. See you there. EMDR stands for Eye Movement Desensitization Reprocessing Therapy. So EMDR is a very popular form of trauma therapy. Many people have tried EMDR or have heard about EMDR because it's one of the most common modalities out there, and a lot of therapists are trained in it. So EMDR helps people process specific memories through bilateral stimulation. So you might move your eyes back and forth or tap on different sides of your body while thinking about something painful, and it's very memory based. So you're targeting past events on purpose. So if you're doing EMDR, you would need to be able to access traumatic memories so that you can work with them. And this significantly differs from somatic experiencing because in somatic experiencing, you don't need to talk about what happened and you don't even need to remember it. So somatic experiencing is really great for those who do not want to relive their memories or those who have significant gaps in their memory. With somatic experiencing, we trust that your body already knows the story and we can access the healing through present moment sensations without needing to relive or even again remember the trauma. So if you want to work with traumatic memories, EMDR may be a good fit, but if you don't want to think about or remember your trauma, then somatic experiencing would be a better fit. Another difference between EMDR and somatic experiencing is that with EMDR, you're primarily working with the brain versus in somatic experiencing, we're working with the brain and all of the other internal organs like your heart, your lungs, your liver, your kidneys, your stomach, and your bladder, because the nervous system is responsible for all of your internal organs. So we're not just working with one internal organ. So in EMDR, you're working primarily with the brain, and in somatic experiencing, you're working with all of your internal organs. Alrighty. Next is hypnosis. Hypnosis helps you access your subconscious by entering a very relaxed state. This can be really helpful for shifting your belief systems or just calming the nervous system. And somatic experiencing is similar to hypnosis in the sense that we are working with the subconscious, but in a somatic experiencing session, we're also working with the unconscious. So there's a deeper level of healing there. Another difference between hypnosis and somatic experiencing is that there's no trance in somatic experiencing. In hypnosis, there is a trance that you're kind of guided into. So in somatic experiencing, you stay fully present, grounded, and aware, and we're not suggesting things to your subconscious. We're just letting your nervous system take the lead. So these are just some examples of somatic tools, techniques, and modalities, and how they differ from somatic experiencing. Of course, there are so many other forms of somatic healing, and like I mentioned earlier, somatic experiencing is just one of them. So I hope you found this breakdown helpful. Again, if you want to understand somatic experiencing a little bit more, you can listen to episode 79, where I dive deeper into what somatic experiencing is, what it looks like, and if somatic experiencing is the right healing modality for you. Or maybe after listening to this, you're like, actually, one of these other modalities seems to be a better fit. And that's fine too, but my hope is that you have more clarity about what somatic healing is, what it looks like, and how somatic experiencing is different than other healing modalities. Because if you've been listening to this podcast for a while now, you know that I'm absolutely passionate about this work, and it's really unfortunate that somatic experiencing often gets confused with things like breathwork, because it is so much deeper than that. And again, not to say that breathwork isn't helpful. Breathwork is so powerful, and somatic experiencing is just a different level of healing. And I really don't want to let somatic experiencing continue to get lost in all of the noise. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to hit the follow button so that you get notified when a new episode is released. Or I would forever appreciate you if you shared the episode with a friend. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you absolutely loved this episode, I would so appreciate it if you subscribed and left a review on Apple Podcast, or take a screenshot and share this episode on social media. The more nervous systems we reach, the more generational cycles we break, and the more we contribute to a kinder and safer world. And if you're looking for somatic healing services, send me a DM and I'd love to chat on how I can support you. I'll see you in the next episode.